What's up, YouTube? Audubon Dan here. I am done with this disaster. Basically, it's just too much. It's just a chess game. I'm just done. So stay tuned. I'll do a little recap on this and tell you what's going on now. So I'll get away from this noisy AC compressor in a minute here. So I built them this fence right here. Because that fence was actually, I was able to walk between their driveway and our driveway, and then they're all happy-go-lucky, happy as a clam. And then after that, I started working on the garage. It was leaking on that corner all the way down, and this just smelled like rodents, because rodents were getting in a hole in the attic, and it started on this wall. And then that wall ended up to this wall, and then this wall, and then finished that wall off in a weekend, and then finished the whole front in a 4-day weekend. So I basically kept the structure up as the city told me. I went to the city at the point when this wall was just about finished, because the neighbors went across the street and asked the other neighbor, which is an ex-contractor, to ask them if that property line was right, and they're just complaining about an inch, and they're complaining about their water drainage and all that, and they're just going off the word of the neighbor across the street. And then so I just dropped everything I was doing and went to the city. The city said it was fine as long as I do one wall at a time. I even had it stamped, and I made a little drawing and had it stamped, and then I started pounding hammers again, and little known, they red tagged it, and they walked in, took pictures, and now I'm stuck. It has to be built. It can't be torn down as a stay. And if it gets torn down, then it has to be a carport, because you have to have a carport somewhere for your car to park with the rules. And it's very hard to tear this down too, because it's a historic building. It was very hard to even change anything on the status, because they want the garage to stay there, because historic means, because 3 blocks down that way, or no, 3 houses down that way, there's a historical landmark building, so everything has to stay the same. Yeah, so basically this foundation is original, and then everywhere this concrete right here that I put in was pressure treated wood, so I was just doing it little by little. And yeah, I'm just at a point right now where the foundation is the next process that has to be approved. So let's start with the front here again. I'll switch over to the front real quick on the front here. After spending $10,000 on this, and another $11,000 on a land surveyor, an architect, and a structural engineer, took a break for a while, and then I decided to take the window out, because they didn't want the window. The city didn't want the window. You're not supposed to have a window, so I took it out. Finished it all up pretty good. As you can see, matched it all up and made 2 doors, because that's what it was before. And then made an appointment with the city inspector to do the foundation, because that's the first inspection process. And I know right off the bat that I don't have enough anchor bolts, so I just wanted to know how far the inspector is going to go, just in case I have to tear this whole structure down. But I don't have enough anchor bolts. I just have just a few, and they want more anchor bolts. And basically the city engineer doesn't want any liability on it. He's just going by what the engineer says, and how the engineer made the drawings for this structure. So everything has to match, and it doesn't. This foundation's all wrong. Everything's wrong. It's 1,000 times better, but it's all wrong. So basically the engineer has a plan to cut a 4x2 section out here, 4.5 by 2.5, and then put a $500 wall, structure wall here that bolts down to it, and more anchor bolts on each corner, special anchor bolts. And then hope to hell that it's gonna pass there's an actual inspector that has to inspect the bolts that go down, and that's a pretty precise project. Sometimes they don't even show up and they just sign off, but you never know. So that's going to be a tricky process. And then once that's signed off, then the city inspector signs off on it, and then it's just too much. I can't handle it. It's if it's all wrong and I do it wrong, it all has to be done over again. And I already counted. It's like $2,600 for me to do it, and $700 every time a structural engineer comes out. So it's just too much, and then all that could be for nothing. So I figure I'm just throwing my hands up and calling a contractor. Contractor wants to have the structural engineer papers, the solution signed off with the city before he even touches it, because yeah, you just gotta CYA, you know. It's like I don't have the manpower to do all this and get it's like a 200-pound wall here, so and I have to buy all the tools and stuff for just one-time use. So it's like I'm just giving up. Just let someone else do it, and maybe have it completed all the way, because it's just depressing being in here. I barely go out here anymore, and it's just too much. Yeah, it's the way it is. Just gonna leave it as that. I know it's gonna cost at least $9,000 just for the foundation part, and then the rest getting up to code. It has to be hurricane clips, and I think this shear wall is not strong enough, so some other shear wall has to be put in, and it's just a bunch of BS. I give up. It's just too much of a chess game. I'm done. I already have an idea with one contractor I'm going with. I already went with 3, and yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. I'm done. Basically, since this is a new structure, it has to be all permitted, all done up, and with the structural engineer drawings, it has to match, and then everything has to be exactly like that. And every time the structural engineer comes out, it's a $700 fee for them to come out, and if I do the foundation wrong, it's another $700. It's ridiculous. It's too stressful. Well, keep speaking about stress. The neighbors sent me a nice little letter, little certified letter. They actually paid for a certified letter stating that I'm not allowed to trespass on their property. So that's a nice little lovely letter there, but it wasn't signed by a lawyer, so it's considered harassment. So this project's got to be finished. They spent money on their own land surveyor, and I spent money on my own land surveyor, and it's the property line's already done. It's set in stone. So I don't know what the deal is now. They think I'm encroaching on their property, and they're holding the fact that I can't go on their property for trespassing as a ransom to stop this whole thing. I don't get it. It's done. It has to be finished. My hands are tied behind my back. The city has me tied behind my back. It's the way it is. It's just a horrible chess game. I'm done. So I just want to put it on cruise control and let a contractor fix it, and that's it. And on a lighter note, got a package from Casey Tools, just a little tool haul. You can just open this, make my night a little brighter. Let's get on to it. All right, let's get this thing open. It's just a couple little things I got here. Pretty sure I know what it is. It's some Vera sockets to complete my Vera holding function sockets. And it comes in a nice little protective thingamabobber. So to complete the set, let's see what we got here. Oh, that's an extra thing I bought there. Let's see here. Got the 9, the 11, and the 12 to complete that set. I think there's a 14, but who uses a 14? So just as long as I have a complete set, I'll be fine. And another note on these bigger ones, they have the holding function. They're a lot thicker on the edge, so you gotta give a little bit on the edge. They are 12 point or 6 point, and but they're still thick. But you can really go on these really hard. So got plenty of meat there, so it's not bad for the bigger ones. The smaller ones still have a wall on them, but yeah, it's still kind of thick. They got the grip function on their end and color coded, so a lot of nice features to compensate for the rest of it. So I got those 3, and then I got a T30 was a nice and stubby T30. So I go through a lot of T30s. And lately, I've been needing a lot of T30s. They're a little more shallower. So kind of doing a little comparison on the T30s here. I got a Stavilla T30. Here's the part number. And here's the part number on the it's a holding function also. Because the way it's designed, it's a holding function design, so it holds your bit, your fastener. And here are the numbers on the other three here. And so I got that, and then the Stavilla one. These are nice. The tool trucks actually carry these in case you need to warranty them. They do shatter, but nice and stubby compared to the Vera. It's pretty much about the same. It's got the black coating on it. The number is right here. Chrome alloy, Germany. I believe these are Czech. Yeah, these are all Czech. And then you always get the bit. Oh, thanks. I believe he's still doing. Yeah, he's style 23 of 24. It is a Wiha number 2, 50 millimeter. Wiha. The gold. And I picked up their tool of the day. So if you're on Instagram, you can see their tool of the day. Good little tip here, go at midnight. So the tool of the day goes up on midnight. So if you're too late in the day to be all sold out, then you have to wait for it. It still honors the price. You just gotta wait for it to get delivered from Germany. Got the fellow Smart here. I wanted to check this thing out. Thought it was always pretty cool. Always wanted to get it, see what it's about. Nice. That turns into a T-handle, and then like locks back in. It's pretty sturdy. Right on. You put any bit you want in there. Looks like it's a ball detent. Yeah, ball detent. Put any bit you want in there. Very solid. And you can just screw it in the rest of the way. I'll post this up on my Instagram and see how it looks like with bits. I don't think I have any bits right now. I have this cheap Irwin bit driver. Let's see here. Yeah, pretty positive. No magnet, just a ball detent. Kind of goes in there pretty deep. It doesn't seem to lock. Let's see here. So when you pull it out, it comes out with it. I don't see any way to lock it. No. So if it's a tight fit, it's gonna pull out with it. You're gonna have to lock it back in again. So note on that. So any pull back on it, it's gonna come out with. Well, let's see. Playing around with it a little bit more. Yeah, if the bit's pretty tight, it's gonna pull it out. And then this is kind of an odd bit. The Irwins are always a little bit odd, so it's gonna pull it out if it's an odd bit. I don't see it wearing out over time. Here's a better shot of the inside. Made of a pretty hard plastic there. Probably the glass reinforced plastic. Pretty positive click there. Solid. Made in Germany. Here's another closer shot of the VHA bit. I think it's diamond tip. It's a power bit. Let me get the card here. It's a Phillips Dura power bit. 74142. Pretty nice. And then the flyer, the only thing left. Looks like the same flyer the past couple months. And I'll put a link down below. I can go on and on about tools, which is way less stressful. So I'm glad you guys made it to the end. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, and on to the next one. Thanks, guys.